So we're all agreeing she's probably the worst character in the game right now, right? Don't get me wrong, Testament has had their fair share of issues, but this is pretty bad. Anybody has been living under a rock for 2.0 for a wee while, and although we're still figuring out tier lists and positions of strength for every character because some things are not set in stone, there are some characters that are definitely the worst in this patch. And the topic of today's video is Abba. Abba was one of the characters that got hit the hardest this patch. Legit, is mostly nerfs in our notes. And if we look here, we got a meme tier list. Relegated to figure mode, and they're not wrong. They reworked her in a way that makes her weak, and we're gonna get into why she sucks so much ass. So across the board, Abba did get hit, but we'll get started with normal mode because this is the mode you literally start in. Neutral across the board just got worse. All your normals just got hit by something, keyword key normals, got hit in a way that makes them harder to use or a bit more punishable. For example, Farslash here has 21 frames of recovery now, meaning this is a harder tool to use. A very stubby Farslash, might I add. Now it's got 4 momentum, but the recovery being very minus on block make it kind of a bad normal to use in these stubby situations. Keep in mind, Abba without jealousy is a character that isn't really threatening and neutral, and this just makes it even worse for her. The same thing happened at 5H did with Potemkin. It is now a soft knockdown, but Potemkin has ways to take screen space and make this a good normal on hit or on block. Abba has to kind of use her dash up if she hits it to try and at least confirm Oki, but it's now very hard to use. And the counter hit putting them in the air automatically kind of makes the potential of combos a little bit crappier, as she has many a creative routes of meter. Because of the changes to 5H, comboing off of it is still also very difficult. Usually you'll be able to pick the curb stomp every time you go to town OTG, but that got nerfed. We'll get into that. Get your distances right, because if you don't, you're doing 5H at the minus, and that's bad. And our 2P, which is one of our nicest normals, without a doubt, was a 4-framer, now a 5-framer. This changes a ton. For a lot of people who don't understand frame data, having a 4-frame mash allows you to mash on -1 situations and trade. You will lose no situations, meaning Abba does not have a good defensive mash tool anymore. JH is without a doubt one of her worst normals now. This is something I almost forgot to mention. Because of the long startup, you can't do it off of an air dash, and you can't do it off of a high jump air dash. You need to do it off of a jump, and that's it. Ruining a ton of meaty selves for what could have been a fantastic jump in. Buttons across the board, but like I said, key grab being one of the more dominating pressure tools that Abba has access to is no longer that tool. It pushes her back way further, still keeps the guard crush duration, however, -2 on block. Meter, it can still be a great option for fuzzy setups, but without meter, this is a turn ender tool at best. Abba in normal mode really doesn't want to give up a turn, because as we know with her neutral, it's really bad. It's like the worst. It's probably worse than Season 2 Potemkin. His neutral was ass. This is really bad. It's very safe for the defender to now take a turn on this tool, and Abba just has to respect it, because without jealousy, her backdash is chunky. Her maneuverability on -2, there's not a lot she can do with it. Oh, and the curb stomp, her overhead that's a mid without jealousy, is now -4. This move was already kinda challengeable, not really reactable, but in the moment, there's times where you can mash on it and hit her out the sky. Epi -4 means the opponent doesn't have to be scared anymore. They can kind of just block it and then take a turn, and -4, that's not a lot of wiggle room to do anything. You're punishable by 5 frames in this game now. -4 means that you have 1 frame to do an action, which is impossible. There's nothing that you can do in 1 frame that will beat throw or whatever. And because it's -4, it means that an IB into back throw makes it even more punishable. Counter hit reward off of the curb stomp is also just way worse because of the new changes. You can only get a close slash OTG, and that's about it. This tool is okay, but with meter it gets better, and without it, it's just, who cares, right? It's a mid. It's a mid. You don't have to even block overhead. You just stand block. Knockdown's even worse on normal hit, so mid screen you don't get anything to work with. In the corner, decent. Mid, nothing. Rika low got worse as well. Her Rika is where she swings forward with her backhand and stabs you with the key. It is now way more punishable with a ton of minus frames. I think it's like -40 now. You can't miss the punish now. It's super punishable. It even gives less jealousy on the bar if it hits, which is a big deal because of the nerfs that happen later. So the reward on this tool isn't even that great. And there's less plus frames to work with on the knockdown. What was great about this is that it gave Abba ways to do safe jump setups and pressure afterwards. Now she's kinda limited to a close slash at best. And if it hit from a very far distance, I don't know what she's gonna do. Maybe has to get very committal after this. And the Rika being more minus on both hits means that the first hit has lost its combo potential. Rika 1 was a great air carry normal as it let you go across the screen very quickly. However, it losing that combo potential now is a big deal as her corner carry wasn't good and now it just got worse. And of course she got the super nerfs across the board, can't RC it and can't hit punishable, and for Abba there's a big gap to punish that. It's almost funny how much of a gap you have. Jealousy is one of the bigger issues without doubt. This is how the character works. It made her a top tier when she had jealousy and a mid tier, low tier when she didn't. More like you have a low tier that kind of goes up to mid tier. That bad. You start with way less. Now, starting with 25% is bad. A lot of people may look at this and go like, you still have jealousy. This is a big deal. In matchups where you're up against someone that is a zoner or someone like Asuka who does very well into Abba, this was the key way for you to win that matchup. With you having less time to do anything with it, that is a massive deal, as it means that Asuka gets to run the offense at the start, and if you run offense at the start, you have to retreat immediately to get back your jealousy. And we'll get into why later. All of her normals in Jealousy stayed the same. They're actually all pretty solid across the board. The only thing that does suck is JH. Abba likes to do her triple overhead setup off of a close slash, jump cancel, and the JH on mid-screen has increased horizontal blowback. It affects combos to a heavy degree, and in mid-screen it means that you won't get anything off of it unless you do a cancel. Turning off Jealousy was also kind of an issue. Whenever you turned off Jealousy, you get 50% back of what was missing when you used it. So if you had like 40%, you get back 20%. Now you only get 25% on that. So that 40% that we talked about, you're gonna get like a 10% jealousy back, and that you can't do anything with that amount of jealousy. That is a very minuscule amount of jealousy. I was used to trying to on to try and do some neat setups to get back some jealousy and kind of extend it in these overcommittal moments, but now you ain't doing none. The overhead got the exact same treatment as it did in normal modes. -4 and not a lot of wiggle room, and actually affected the combo state. If this landed, you got a huge combo. Now there's a bit of a pushback, so you're limited to certain combos, giving the reward of this nasty overhead that's near unreactable not much. And on block, it's the opponent's turn, and we'll get into why that's a big issue later. Rika Low was scary. It gave some pretty cool combo potential, and it gave some nasty setups for Abba to run offense. Now, it's been relegated to have less plus frames, meaning there's only specific setups that you can do now, rather than some of the more creative plus 60 knockdown stuff. It's a huge deal. Again, this was a scary factor. You get hit by something, she'd hit confirm into this, and welcome to hell. Can't do that as much. Too many nerfs. And one nerf that I really appreciate, this is one where I'm like, yeah, no, I needed it. This super here is less dominating. Plus 29 instead of like the plus 60 odd that I had before, meaning if you air block it, Abba can't really take an insane turn off of it. I bet she might be like plus 4 or something. This part of the video is the main thing that I want to talk about. This is what's relegated Abba to being a super low tier. Everything else would make her low to low mid tier. This makes her super low tier. Jealousy, pop. Whenever a character that has some type of state like this comes out of their state, the screen freezes and it kind of puts them in a state where they can kind of react, but in Abba's case it was -10. She can't do much with -10, but in the positive, it gave her reaction time to play around some stuff. Here, it is so much worse. They make this -10 punishable. You can hit her during this -10. And as we talked about earlier, there's multiple scenarios where Abba gives up a turn of offense to give it to the opponent. Blocking the low, blocking the overhead, blocking the key grab. They're all minus now. So if you block that overhead that's -4, and take a turn from Abba and your jealousy, you can put her in a block string long enough to make that jealousy disappear till it hits 0, and as soon as it does, a true block string into death. There are characters that actually have TOD combos where if they hit her while she's in jealousy, and then when she runs out of jealousy, get a brand new pickup to hit her again. This was way too much of a hard nerf. Everything else up until this point, I've been like, yeah, it's a bit hard, but I can kinda agree with it. This is death. No other character gets punished as hard as Abba when they run out of resource. Happy Chaos, it's still a menace with resources. He doesn't give a damn, he's still got normals. Asuka now puts himself out of his resource on purpose to get back that resource and delay the game until he can just throw out cubes. Nagori Yuki, well, he might die from it, but he also might kill you because now he's enhanced and does more damage and has normals that go full screen. She runs out of it, just dies. She just dies. There's nothing that she can do here. There's no counterplay. There's no witty anything. You just die. It's insanity how hard they hit this state. I'm like, this is something that they should have done with other characters. But with Abba, a character is already pretty shitty outside of the install state, and then you've nerfed the crap out of her install state, and then you do this to her? This isn't a nerf, this was a public execution. And this affected so many matchups. As running out of jealousy meant death, it meant that characters, they could zone her and make it so she used jealousy and didn't get any reward from it, would die. All of them would just die, right? We take a look at Axel Abba. Die, 10-0. Asuka into Abba, 9-1, dead. Potemkin into Abba, he's different. He wins it because he does way too much damage, and if he can just wait patiently enough in defense with his high health, -4, take a turn. Uh-oh, did you just block that at 20% jealousy? Well, I'm gonna put you in a block string till that runs out. Uh-oh. Dead. Our matchups across the board just got way worse because they either delayed jealousy or waited for a turn to take offense and make that jealousy pop. Right now, to play Abba at her best, you want a full bar of jealousy and try not to take a block string at 50% jealousy because that would get you killed. I'm not even joking. A block string at 50% jealousy meant death. You wanted full jealousy, try to do something, and when you had like maybe 60 or 40% jealousy, turn it off. Instantly turn it off. Abba sucks now. She's one of the worst characters without a doubt, no argument. Maybe next to Testament where the vision is a bit cloudy in what they want to do with them. But here, Abba's bad. Just straight up. Because it felt like a lot of the nerfs that they did was already slightly a bit much when it came to all of her tools. But when it came to that nerf alone, you just sealed the deal. If you guys enjoy, be sure to like and sub, hype it up, and tell me who I should cover next for characters that got super buffed or super nerfed in the patch of 2.0. I think 2.0 is a fantastic patch, but the character balancing is still an issue, but that's something that you gotta get down. It is what it is. That's gonna be it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.